What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 7 of Pay to Glory. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. It's been a little bit busy with my personal life, so I haven't had the opportunity to get on here and edit some videos. So I've got quite a bit of footage, so we got a long episode. For those of you that like long episodes, this will be a treat because we've got pretty much everything in it. We got an SBC in there. We got a lot of packs. We put some money on the account. Open up some packs. We played some online games, as I told you guys that I wanted to play a lot more online games. We do have a squad battle for those of you that like squad battles. We got a little bit of everything today. So before we jump right into the actual video itself and a lot of the meat and bones and potatoes of the video, if you guys could go ahead and leave a like down below, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel, those of you that have stuck with me this far and have watched this many videos into the series. I know there's a lot of Road to Glory series out there, so I appreciate you guys choosing me to follow on it. So it's been a great journey so far, and I look forward to it getting even better. So as we get into the actual content itself here, this was 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago's squad battle. So I believe this was last Monday, so that's where we started off. We only finished, I believe, was it Silver 1 or Gold 3? I've been trying to figure out the actual squad battles and how they work. I know that when I jumped on this past week, which was just a few days ago, when I started playing it, you could do the featured squad, which I think was Mtiti's, which you guys will see later in the video. And you play that, it gives you about 1,700 coins or something, depending on what level. I was only playing on semi-pro just to get an easy win. And then I played the first series of games, and it took me pretty much up to Gold 3 right away. So I was really interested to see if that held or if that changes back down the more games that open up. So I've only played, I think, 6 additional squad battle games this week, which I don't have included on the video because I told you guys in the last video I didn't want to play too many offline games. So I'm trying to see, kind of as a test this week, to see whether those hold up and to see whether I can hold that position, because right now I'm in Gold 3 and I want to see if I actually get Gold 3 rewards or if the more games that come out throughout the week my rank goes down. So it'll be an interesting test. If you guys know the answer, you can call me an idiot and basically write down below, oh, this works, you should know that already. But for me, I didn't know the actual answer to that, so I'm trying that out. So hopefully we get Gold 3 rewards, because I'd much rather get those 2 jumbo packs than these gold packs and these premium gold packs that are essentially giving me nothing. Right now, it's pretty much just the 10,000 coins that are the best part of the actual rewards, but 10,000 coins is 10,000 coins, so I won't complain about that. We did put some money on the account. They had some prime gold player packs come out. I did open 6 of them, I think. Or sorry, there was only 5 of them that were available, so I opened 5. Didn't get too much great stuff here. The first 2 packs, there wasn't really too much in them. There's so many gold rare players in this year's game that just go for nothing. Like, the gold rares are essentially like the cheapest cards unless you get a really high rated one. You guys will see what I do with the rest of the coins, or the rest of the FIFA points, which I thought was an interesting take. Usually I would have just gotten the highest packs available, got as many as possible, but I tried to flip the script a little bit and go with some of the gold or silver player packs, which actually I think will pay out better. So you guys will see the results from that as well. So as we enter our third pack, our first board down here, center back, France, Arsenal, Laurent Koscielny. Very happy with that. He was a guy that I did eventually want to buy. So as you guys know, we already have Eric Bailly. He's not going anywhere in the team. I pretty much kept him throughout the entire last year. And Koscielny was the other guy, so love that pull. I was super excited getting him, because even though he's only an 84 rated, he does go for just a little under 20K, somewhere around 20K, but he's a great player to have. Pretty much the second best center back, ratings-wise at least. A lot of people will use David Luiz. He goes for about 100K, but I don't understand why David Luiz is so popular. He's only got 70 pace, which I'm not a fan of. Like, I'd rather have Laurent Koscielny's 75 in there, because as you guys know, with a lot of these fast strikers that are starting to come out with all these special cards, they're just going to get faster and faster, and you need speed back there. So I do not want to screw around with David Luiz and his 70 pace. I'm sure he's a lot better than that 70 pace says, but I'm not that interested in him. He's just not a card that I especially see 100K worth of a player. So I'd rather use 100K in a lot of other areas of my team. So Kagawa was the guy that we got on our second board down in our fourth pack. The rest of the pack's pretty much trash. Right now I'm just looking for players that I can use in SBCs. So like that player, for example, the center back might go for something. A lot of those smaller teams, they don't have high rewards. Pretty much people are only doing the league SBCs for teams that have like rare gold packs, jumbo packs, mega packs aren't really too prevalent in them, but any of the high reward packs. So any ones that are just like 100k coins, or not 100k coins, excuse me, 1,000 coins and something else, people pretty much aren't doing them, so they're not really worth a lot. But we do get our first Screamer card, which was very interesting. I did flip this guy. I didn't end up keeping him around because he was going for about I think 18,750 was what I sold him for on PS4. He was only going for like 20k, I think, once he was boosted this week. There's so many of these guys on the market that I wasn't too interested in like holding out for like the extra K. I'd rather just get it and use it towards getting a player. You guys will see later on how we do with this, but I tried getting Alexander Lacazette. He was the big guy that I wanted to put those coins towards, so I had 85k. At this point, I was just looking for any type of cards that could get us close to it. He's going for about 160k on PS4. On the weekend, I saw him drop down to about 155. I also saw him go up to as high as 170. He was kind of floating around that 160 range, so that was kind of where he settled in. So as you guys see, we did open those 5 promo packs. Pretty good haul, actually, all things considered. You know, it could have been a lot worse. We could have got a lot of junk, but one Screamer card, Lauren Koscielny. Kagawa doesn't go for very much. He goes for like 2-3K max. And then I think there was a couple other value guys that might gone for higher than discard. But most of these guys I'm just going to keep in the club. They are going to be good for SBCs once leagues start rolling out a little bit more. A guy like Gelson Martins, I think we already did the Sporting Lisbon one, so he's going to be a guy that we're just going to flip. But all these guys, like all these Serie A players, there are like marquee matchups that come out every Tuesday, but I'm trying not to do too many of them because I do want to keep them for the League SBCs. Those marquee matchups aren't really giving very good packs away. They're going to give like a premium gold players pack, and to me that's just not worth the amount. Like this week I think you had to do what was the team you had to do? I think you had to put in like a Danish league, and I ended up selling one of the center backs for like 9,800 coins. Like a silver center back that's just basically a discard, like he's worth nothing. But because Danish players and hardly anybody keeps them, like those are things that like the bronze pack method would be actually quite useful for if you had a bunch of Danes. The center backs are always going to go for a lot. A lot of the other ones are pretty much worthless because like center mids were still going for like 200 coins. Keepers were going for 200, but that center back, they were just so hard to get. Guys were paying crazy. So it seems like every marquee matchups that's come out, there's one that's like crazy through the roof. And to do them all, unless you have all these guys in your club, I just don't advise doing them. Like for a premium jumbo pack or gold players pack, I just think like, I'd rather have something else. So I'd rather just sell it, have the 9,800 coins, use them towards something. So that's my advice on them. Marquee matchups, make hay while whatever the term is. I can't remember the term, but you know, make money while you can with it, because I just don't think that the SBCs are worth it right now, and guys are still going crazy over the SBCs. So as you guys see here, we did open a couple other packs here. You also saw that we were opening the Premium Electrum Players packs here. So the Premium Electrum Players pack, it was, I don't know, they're tough because you get a lot of silvers in them. Like I like them right now because the silvers are paying out a lot. There's a lot of leagues like Russian and Portuguese league where there's a lot of silver players, so they are handy in that sense. The Electrum Players packs, generally you'll get a lot of trash, but like the Mexican League, for example, you see you got a couple guys there. I think that guy, that Cardozo, you'll see later in the video, we did sell him. He went for a couple K. So there is some value, but there's also a lot of garbage. Like you're really not going to get a lot of the high-rated players in these packs. You might get lucky, but you know, you guys have heard me. I sound like a broken record, but my theory on these is just, you know, open up packs that have the highest percentage of getting you a Ronaldo or Messi. That's really what you want. You want those high value, like informed packs. You can play with these if you've got like some players hanging around in the club, but most of these guys, you're just kind of nickel and diming. With that being said, if you have a lot of time on your hands and you do grind out a lot, you play a lot of FIFA and grind out players, they probably are worth it because, you know, every coin helps. But if you're not spending a lot of time on it, I wouldn't waste too much time on it. So if you're only playing once or twice a week, like a lot of people are, I wouldn't spend a lot of time grinding these out because you're going to have to really nickel and dime. in order to get any value out of them. If you're just a guy who opens them, sees that he gets nobody, and then closes the pack or just like discards the rest of the pack, then this is a waste of a pack for you, because you really have to look for every possible coin you're going to get out of these guys, which there are some, but like I said, it's a lot of work, so you have to put in a lot of work in order to do it. So as we kind of come to the close of a lot of these pack openings here, we did get this, I believe, as a reward pack, that Arnold one. And hey, Arnold is just a guy that I've packed so many times. He drives me absolutely crazy. I hate getting him. I feel like every time I try to use him in an SBC, I just get him again. He's that guy for me. You guys know everyone's got one or two of those guys that are in their club, or they just get all the time in packs, and Arnold's that guy for me. I think I packed him 4 or 5 times already this year, and I haven't even opened that many packs compared to a lot of people. So for me, I just want him to go away. So he was the last guy that I think I took in that, and I just opened 2 of these silver player packs because, like I said, 200 coins, you're only going to get 1 premium gold pack, and you might be lucky if you get an Hey Arnold, you'll probably get like a couple crappy non-rare cards. So I thought I would just go into the silvers and hopefully get some of these guys that we can use in the SBCs, and I think we did pack a couple of them. Worst case scenario, like the MLS ones, the Germans, those are guys that we're just going to put in the club because once those league SBCs come out, they're going to be worth a crap ton. Other than that, we're just looking for Portugal, Mexico, what are the other ones that are out? Turkey and Russia, I think, are the 4. So those 4 leagues, if we get any of those guys, they're pretty much almost guaranteed going to go for something a lot more than you'd get for just using 100 FIFA points on something else. And worst case scenario, we're just stocking our club for once the rest of these leagues come out. So some decent players in there. This Gonzalez, he was actually a really good value one, so he paid itself off in terms of that pack. I think he was another guy that went for like 3,000 coins or something like that. Also, we get a goalkeeper from the Turkish league. He'll go into one of those Turkish teams. I can't remember which one. I'm going to butcher the name, but those are actually some pretty good value packs, especially if you're using FIFA points. 100 FIFA points to get a silver players pack. That's really good return. So as you guys can see, I'm starting to nickel and dime a little bit of my way, working my way up. We did pack Marco Verratti in another pack, which I can't remember what we got him in. I think it was actually one of the marquee matchups. We did get lucky and got that. We did get that in one of the other marquee matchups from just the regular packs. But he went for 20-something K, so that was a nice little coin boost here. And then you can see we got the rewards for our second week. So I didn't play at all the previous week. We had an entire week where I'd only played, actually, when I say I didn't play any online games. I played some offline games, playing some squad battles, and that was pretty much it. So we finished silver, was it silver 1, I think was what we finished there. So we only get 2 premium gold packs and 1 gold pack and about 10k coins. So as you guys can see, you're not going to get very much from that. I was even thankful just to get players at all, like 5 or 6 players in that one pack. But we did get a Boca Juniors player, which went for something, because the Boca Juniors, actually I think we used him in this week's marquee matchup. So Boca Juniors was one of the teams that you can use in this week's marquee matchup. So it was Boca Juniors and I believe River Plate. So they were the other ones that were going for quite a bit in order to complete it. You only got like a premium consumables pack, which essentially is worthless right now. They will be worth something, but you have to stockpile a lot of your squad fitnesses, because right now I think I checked and they're going for about 500 coins on PS4, which is nothing at all. So hopefully they'll jump up soon, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have to wait till past Christmas in order for those to actually be worth where I'm hoping that they'll be worth. Last year they got up as far as like 1,500 coins, but with the amount of packs and the amount of SBCs that are being handed out and guys are trying to sell them, like they're really not worth very much. And I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if this year squad fitnesses don't jump up, because I don't think there's going to be too many times where there's not a promotion or there's not SBCs coming out the yin yang or what have you, where guys are just getting a whole bunch of packs, or in general with weekend league and now squad battles, there's going to be so many packs being open. Guys are going to have so many squad fitnesses. I don't see them really jumping up. There's not going to be a time where you're starved for them. So again, we did a clean out. We got rid of a lot of players. A lot of the guys were going for a couple thousand coins. We packed Fernandinho in one of those packs. He went for 2,400. And then you can see the funny thing was the only other guys that went for something were pretty much non-rare silvers that we sold that Bender. The other thing, actually, sorry, the other guys that did sell for something were Glick and Subasic that were going for a couple thousand coins. They were going for about 7,000 to 9,000 because they're so highly rated. Guys are using them in those SBCs where you need like 85, 86, 87, even 88 team ratings in order to do some of the icon ones. So those are always going to keep their value. So credit to EA for those. High value players are pretty much always going to have a value. So I would be in shock if you saw Glicks and Subasic's and those types of guys dropping below 5 to 7K throughout the course of the year, even as many as they come in, because guys are always going to be cycling them, especially once like Maradona and Ronaldinho and Ronaldo's SBCs come out for their prime players. Those things are going to go through the roof. So hold on to those guys if you want, but they are going for something now, so it's always handy packing a high-rated player. So we are going to jump into our first game. This is our only offline game in the episode. This game was against Samuel Umtiti's team, so he had his pro player card, which was absolutely crazy in terms of the ratings. I saw someone post it on Twitter. I think it was like 98 pace, 98 defending, 99 physical, something crazy like that. The other funny thing with these, though, is that I find playing against high-rated teams. Now, this one's a little bit different because this one's so high-rated. Like, he had Ronaldinho, Ronaldo in there. Like, he had the craziest team I think I've seen in the game. But playing high-rated teams, I've actually gotten better results than playing against off-chem, low-rated teams. So I played against guys that have, like, a bunch of bronzes and maybe, like, Thiago Silva at center mid. Like, just dumb teams. And for some reason, the computer, even if I'm playing on semi-pro or whatever, jacks them up. Like, I don't know if it ups the aggression or whatever, but they're so much harder to score against. And those are the types of games where I'll only win like 2-1. Like, if I'm playing a guy's team who's like all gold cards and he might even have an icon or two or something, I'm like bossing them like 4-5-0. And a lot of those times, because they're only on semi-pro, I can easily win 7-8-0, and I'm not trying very hard. Like I said, I'm just kind of casually playing them, but 7-8-0 is not uncommon. But playing these like low chem teams, I thought the high chems are supposed to get boost, but the low chem teams are playing so much better. So handicap-esque, but I'm not going to get into a whole handicap debate again, especially with offline play, but it feels that way. It feels like they're getting a crazy boost. I'm having such a hard time playing against low-rated, dumb teams because they're just hyper-aggressive and they don't seem to wear out, which is something that I've just become so frustrated with over the course of FIFA's. I still feel like players just really need to dumb down, especially when you're in high aggressive mode. If you're an abuser of high aggression tactics and team press throughout the entire game, your teams should be dead by the end of it, and they're not. Like, guys' teams are just still playing so jacked up. I'm not talking about offline, I'm talking about online now, but just they're playing so jacked up throughout pretty much 80 minutes of the game. You can be down 4-0 by the time their team starts to deteriorate at all, before you notice anything. And it feels like your team deteriorates even if you're playing on balance or whatever. It's something that I wish they would just change. I feel like if you're just an abuser of those high pressure tactics, like, your team should just become dead by the end of it. Just not be able to make passes at all because you've just worn them out so much. But I'm not going to get into that too much. That's just my feeling. You guys have heard me say that. I sound like a broken record on it, but it's just my feeling, and it's something that they still haven't changed, so I hope they address it eventually. This game did go into extra time. I was up 1-0. He did come back and he scored with, or the computer scored with Patrick Vieira on kind of a weird cross and bumbled around to him, and as Patrick Vieira shot it. Funny enough, I put Theo Walcott on, and Theo Walcott was like the best sub. Like, I've loved Theo Walcott this year. Like, I've brought him on as a super sub, and he's just a pace whore. Like, I'm not going to deny that, you know, it's not like he's got crazy skill or anything like that, but he's just super fast, and for lack of a better term, it's just like, it's so important. And then we finally get this fourth here. He scored 2 goals, that Theo Walcott, and then we get a fourth with Lacazette's loan card. So this was, I think, the last game that I could use his loan card in. This card was so impressive to me. It was just on basic, but he was so good. I wanted to go get Alexander Lacazette. It was just like, I was like sold on him. I'd use a couple guys. I'd use like Mesut Ozil and a couple of these guys. And the high-rated players this year actually do play like high-rated. Good passers pass better. Strong guys are stronger. Fast players are faster. It feels like a high-rated guy. Like, I played a guy who had Cesc Fabregas, and Fabregas was just so you could just notice him in the midfield. He just controlled play. Like their ball control was so good. So I feel like having those high-rated players are really worth it. So even though he's a little bit more expensive, Alexander Lacazette's the guy that I've identified as somebody that I really want to lead the line with Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus has been really great for me, but I can tell you that when Lacazette's in the game, like you saw it there with his single goal over Jesus, I feel like he dwarfs Jesus and he makes Jesus feel like the rating that he is, which is what, like an 81 or an 83 or something like that. But that 85, you really feel like he's an 85. He really feels like a star in the team. So he was definitely somebody that I wanted to get. Before we get into the online games, we did do one SBC here this week where I did a bunch of them before, but I didn't record them. So this was one that I just wanted to show. It was the Benfica one. Didn't cost too much. My whole philosophy with the league SBCs is I'm just letting the players come in. Once I'm past half of the team, once I'm at like 5 or 6 players, I'll probably go in there and complete the rest of it, barring there's no players that are like 10, 20K or something like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty much finishing them once I've got a majority of the team done. So I had quite a few of the Benfica players, or I either like the pack, one of the two, I couldn't remember. And there he is again, friggin' Hey Arnold. So I think that was the 4th time, might have been the 5th time, but we packed this guy so many times. I just, look at that, he's even a duplicate. We couldn't even get rid of him quick enough before we got another Hey Arnold. I'm just so sick of seeing his face. No offense to the real guy, but I'm just tired of Hey Arnold. He's just popping up all the time. So look at that, just all the time with him. I don't remember if we discarded him or what we did, but we do end up going out and picking up Lacazette. He cost me 160,000 coins. When I was looking for this interesting story, a guy posted one for 116K. I think it was 116. It was like 112 or 116. It didn't even last a second. It was up for an hour. I don't know if a bot got him or somebody who just had quicker trigger finger than I did, but he was up there and it literally said 1 hour. And I went so quick, I almost broke my hand trying to get it. And it was sold before it even got through. And I was thinking, man, would that have been sweet? 116K for that. Like, I would have been so happy with that. But unfortunately, we didn't get it. Bots, I hope they figure out a way to get rid of those things, because they are killing the market. Like, bots are brutal, but we did end up getting him 160K. He was dropping down in the 150s on the weekend, but I didn't want to wait the whole weekend. This was on, I believe, Monday we played these games. So I just wanted to get in and play some games, get it out, just get it out of the way. I didn't want to wait the entire weekend. So we did get him. We also got Hector Bellerin, as you guys saw, and then we jump into our first game. I just wanted to get these guys in the lineup, try them out. I threw a Hunter card on Lacazette. I threw I can't remember what the one that has defending and physical on it on Hector Bellerin, and we basically jumped right into it. So this guy had a real meta team, and you'll see from the gameplay against this guy. This dude was a really good player. I think it was Justin FC was the guy's name. I feel like I played this guy in last FIFA. He was a really good player. You could tell this guy had played a lot of FIFA in terms of just understanding what really worked. I don't want to sound bitter here. I'm going to sound a little bitter, but he basically just worked the sideline. He went in and out, passed in. He'd wait till my defender came and bit, and he'd go inside and then play in behind. And then he would cut across the middle and either whip in a cross or drive a low-driven cross like that. That was just a regular cross, but he would get lucky with a couple of his shots. But he was creating opportunities. It was very tough to stop. It was cheap, but it worked. So I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, like, if you have something that works, you got to do it. It's all about winning and getting the results. So I'm not going to sound bitter in that sense, but it wasn't necessarily the most dynamic gameplay. This guy was still good. I don't want to take anything away from him. Defensively, he was good. I think I was 3-0 down before I even got my first shot. So I'm not going to act like this guy was some bonehead. You could tell that he really knew what he was doing in terms of like the way he composed his team. He paused it right off the gate and right off the jump, and he moved those players around. We got a little luckier with that through ball, pulled one back, but he did move his team around. I think he went Rashford up top. Can't remember who he put in the middle. Mkhitaryan or somebody, and then he moved Son out to the left. So he did end up changing his team a little bit around. But Marcus Rashford is another guy who just has created so many problems. You guys see, he just worked the line, cut it across, low drivens, crosses into the box. It was just over and over and over, and I couldn't stop it. This was right after the patch as well. The gameplay slowed down, so I'm not trying to make an excuse here, but I was definitely not expecting that. So my pseudo excuse, I guess, for the result in this game was I was still playing it like a previous build, and I was ping-ponging it around a little too much, where this, because the gameplay has really been slowed down, you can really feel it. I was rushing passes and players weren't set. So this is better. I like it a little bit better because I do like it a little bit slower, more methodical. But with that being said, I wasn't playing to that. So this guy scores his 5th goal here. This is by far the most goals I've allowed this entire year. This one was really cheesy. I was a little pissed off because I felt like I was getting back into the game. I cut out a lot of the footage because it was just a lot of midfield play, but I really was owning possession. I was starting to get more comfortable with the game since they slowed it down. And then he basically hit me on a break. I was starting to pull it a little bit back at 4-2. I had a couple chances that I wasn't able to take advantage. I had a lot of possession around his area, but he just basically ran down the field and just shot it right at Ederson, who's for the most part been pretty good. He was pretty shitty in this game, for lack of a better term, pardon my language, but he just wasn't very good in this game, and that goal was the epitome of it. He just knocked it straight up into the net, which I don't know, like, physics-wise how that even is possible, but I've seen that happen for me, so I won't complain too much. It happens in the game. It happens in FIFA. We do pull another one back. We finish 5-3, but we do take our first L of the entire series. You guys can see a lot of his finishes, not necessarily dream goals, but effective. So he was playing a real meta team, played a meta style of gameplay, and very, very tough to break down. He was good defensively. That Moy as well, that informed Moy, I've seen him pretty much every team, but Coutinho was the guy he used in the middle. But you guys can see that team's pretty jacked up. It's a pretty meta team. Nobody really super expensive. I think the most expensive guy might be Felipe Coutinho at like 50K. So this guy's probably played either FUT Champs or something, couple FUT Champs weekends, and you can pretty much build that team. It'll be a lot cheaper in a couple weeks, I'm sure, in a couple months, definitely. But right now, it's a very, very scary team to come up against. So we do jump into our second game. We played 3 games overall. So our first one was a loss. Then we come up against this guy. I believe it was Salemo FC, something like that. But he's got a Serie A Calcio A team. Not necessarily a meta team. The guys that scared me on this team were Perrin and Ned. Perrin, you guys know I had a nightmare with him in a previous episode. He had Jordan Lukaku, who's crazy good for some reason in this game. I've never even seen him in real life really play, so I can't really talk to him, but he is incredible in this game. He's so fast. He ran me down a bunch of times. And he had Douglas Costa. This was right basically off kickoff. I gave away possession dumbly, and this guy just ran downfield and then was just doing a bunch of dumb skill moves. I was really annoyed that he even got the shot away there because Shelny didn't put in a tackle. I was using body. I was hitting O to tackle him, and he just wasn't doing anything. So he basically just ran right down. I wanted to show that entire play. That was essentially, that is the epitome of what scares me the most in FIFA. I feel like playing against really intelligent players, I can play well. The guys that scare me are, I don't even know how to describe them. I don't want to say imbeciles, but guys that just run at you, like just blindly run at you, and they just cause panic. Because right now, even though defending has been fixed apparently by a lot of people, or like broken, I guess you could say, it's changed a lot, but it's still bad in the sense that guys still just run at you, and it's just incredibly hard to defend them. So we ended up pulling one back with David Silva, who I do like the fact that they changed it so his head shaved, so that's pretty awesome because it makes my card a lot more realistic. And then we score a second one here. I believe that was with Gabriel Jesus. Great little dummy, not a dummy, but I basically just waited out his tackle. And essentially went to the right. He was expecting me to cut back to the left, but a little kind of pause and then waited out his defender, went to the right and laid it off for Gabriel Jesus. So 2-1 was, it is how it finished, but I wanted to keep this in here. I wanted to keep some of the footage in here so you guys see some of the misses. What I was wanting to show here was there were so many opportunities. You guys might watch these and be like, oh, they're not crazy good opportunities, but with the flow of play, I had so much possession. He would have these little spurts where he would kind of get some offensive pressure, but he was pushing offensively, and I just had attack after attack after attack, and he was getting these crazy, like, look at this. That was a play that was a through ball. It should have went into space where I could take it wide. Instead, it played it inwards towards his defender, so I was just getting crazy unlucky, and what I wanted to get across here was not necessarily that I felt like the game was working against me, but more so that if you don't take advantage, you're going to leave these guys hanging around and they'll score. They'll, like, this could be the difference between you scoring a goal. Like, look at these just dumb bounces. He was just getting like crazy weird opportunities, and he did have a couple opportunities kind of towards the end, which scared me to death because I was only up 2-1. The game felt like I just wasn't going to score. Like, I didn't feel like, I didn't want to say like handicap or scripting or anything like that, but I just didn't feel like I was going to score. Like, he was getting these really stupid, bumbly defensive clearances, and then right at the end of the game, he came downfield and was like, just hit some crazy long shots, and my defender would like parry them onto the post or something like that. Like, I was thinking like, this guy's going to get some stupid BS game-tying goal, but fortunately for us, we were able to hold on. I do credit myself for some defensive play. There was a couple opportunities that I saw my defense part, and I had to manually run the player back in, which actually stopped some of his opportunities. But it was trying very hard to give this guy a last-second result. But we were able to sneak out a victory. He was a decent player, even though I didn't think he necessarily played great FIFA. He obviously understood that just running in crazy weaves was very hard to defend against. So no real shock in the result, but I was happy that he wasn't able to pull it back, because I did think that this guy was just going to pull something crazy out of his butt there. So very happy with the result, but it could have went either way. So as we head into our third and final game here, we do come up against basically an all-Spanish team. You can tell this guy had not really put any money on the game. He had Marcos Alonso, he had Fernando Torres, nobody really, I think, over 10K. But this guy was actually quite good. So these are the types of guys that worry me a lot more, because they defend passing lanes. You can tell when guys are better. But I just wanted you guys to see this game versus the last game. So the last game, I didn't necessarily consider the guy good. But you guys have all had that. You just come up against somebody, but it feels like the game's, I don't know if he just breaks the game because he's just running at you, but it just feels very disorganized. This one was a lot more structured, and it took until the second half to get a goal there. This guy was defending quite well. You can see by the way he's kind of jockeying and trying to read my runs that he was a lot better defender. He played a lot more FIFA, but he just got unlucky. I scored that first one. I was pretty proud. I knew that his defenders were both going to bite, cut into the left, low driven across goal. But it was a really hard-fought goal. It took a lot of work for me to score that. And then the second one was just a really spammy goal. I'll be the first to admit it. I caught him on a break. I just wanted to get a second goal really quickly and kind of fluster him while he was trying to figure out how to get back in the game. Whipped in a ball. You guys saw him do the dolphin dive there, and I took advantage of it. Unfortunately for him, that's a real BS goal, but it's what happened. The third one, by this point, he was, I don't know if he was deflated, but he was just trying to kind of panically get the ball forward and just get anything he could. I was just holding possession, just trying to really break the game down. My feelings are if you hold possession, the game just starts working for you, and that's essentially what I was doing. I was just really patient. It was pretty much one-sided by the 75th minute at this point. So I kept a lot of the possession out of the game, but I was just moving the ball around so nice, playing a lot of tiki-taka stuff, not rushing anything. And then when you do that type of stuff, these things happen. So Gundogan, absolute belter, but that was just me holding the ball around the midfield, just trying to draw his guys out of position, playing a lot of 2-foot passes, really short stuff. And then I just laid it off for Gundogan in an absolute blast. I feel like the momentum gets in your favor, and you can just start having goes, and some of these will fly in because it views the game as like the game views it as you having a lot more possession, a lot more advantage. And you just start owning control of the game, and you start feeling it in your players. They start winning a lot more tackles, and it just is a lot better. So as we do finish that third game, we do win this 4-0, probably against, next to the guy that beat us, our best opponent so far in the entire series. This guy was really good, but the result was, it was a lot of late goals. So as we do finish the video, credit to this guy, unlucky in the result, but as we do finish the video, like I said, if you could leave a like down below on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until next time, guys, take care. Peace.